All right, it is 10:39. CRTD just got really ugly. Really ugly. Look at this volume and price action. I did take a trade and I want to see what it can do over a longer period of time. Somebody just had a crap ton of shares to sell, but I did take this into consideration because it was like a higher low setup after this morning panic bounce low. It dropped from the 145 level as low as 127. It did offer a bounce to VWAP and then a little baby higher low, a bit choppy because it doesn't have a lot of consistency. And then it got to VWAP and then it downtrended. And I was watching it from this point on. I like how it tried to make a move towards VWAP, but it was a bit too quick, too soon, and there were a lot of sellers at the ask, and then it downtrended one more time at the same level, and I did buy 200 shares at 1024. That was at 131 and a half. So right here is when I entered at 131 and a half, and again I got in for that reason. I was gonna cut the trade if it were to have made a move to the 130s because 131 was always holding, and then it was just kind of sitting there. The price action was actually really ugly. There were a lot of people dumping their shares at the bid, and whenever it would uptrend, they would just immediately take out that person at the bid, and then there will always be sellers at the ask. So none of it was really ideal looking. The pattern kind of broke a little bit when just a 100 share print went through at 148, which was a bit crazy. And then after that, it started the uptrend and it looked really nice. I'm glad I sold half of my position at 135 and a half at 1035 right here at the bottom of this candle. And then I did try to sell, but this thing started to panic. The price action started to look mega ugly. I did try to sell 100 shares at 136 at 1037 right when that bidder showed up at 136. I placed the order. It wasn't getting executed, and then the thing with Fidelity is that I try to cancel the order and it takes like half a minute to actually go through, it feels like. So that wasn't ideal. And then I tried to sell at a lower price, 134, but this is when it started to panic, so that wasn't looking too good. And then once we got to 1038, I did finally get out at 130, and it was already trading mega sketchy, and we broke below the 131 level. So yeah, this thing was just mega ugly, and it just seems like maybe all this price action, why it was so hard for it to uptrend, is because somebody obviously had a lot of shares they had to dump, and maybe that person got wiped out. Maybe this was a dip buy opportunity, but quite frankly, I didn't want to mess with that because I was too busy with my original position because it was taking longer than what I wanted to get executed. I didn't think I did really anything wrong other than maybe if, when 136 was at the bid, I had my sell at like 133 or like 131 and a half, so it doesn't just try to be sneaky and come back to my, lowest point of my order and then, it just trades back at a higher price. Maybe I could have just had maybe a sell, maybe not right at the bid, but a little bit lower. So then I would have gotten executed maybe at 134, and I still would have had some profit in that sense. I did sell the other piece, the 100 shares, for a slight loss just because of the fact that it started to do this mega panic. And yeah, this was just mega ugly. And I did like it because, it tried for the past few days to hold around this level. As you can see, it held it here, for the most part. And then it held it here one more time in the morning. So when it did this move and it came back, it looks like a little higher low. But now it clearly broke that level. Even if it bounces back, it broke it. So it looks ugly in terms of a long-term setup. At least if you want to go long, it's good for a short setup, but I'm not really interested in shorting it. That's pretty much it for right now. MMTLP doesn't really do anything I want. GTII isn't that interesting. This one trades with a spread, so I'm not that interested in it. And this one looks ugly. So that's pretty much it for right now. I'm probably going to start to focus on other things once we get to 11 a.m. But yeah, that was one trade right there. I guess I got too greedy. I should have sold everything, huh? Well, hindsight is 2020. I think I could have had a better sell with a wider bid so that not a wider bid, but a wider sell order, so I would have been executed and maybe, not have sold that last piece for a slight loss. But I think other than that, it was a good try. It is 8:12 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be up on the day just $2.50, and that was this trade right here with CRTD, mainly because of the fact this one just really sold off with a whole bunch of volume. And I was still in this trade right here, and I think the lesson is just to have a wider sell when you place an order, so that if it doesn't get executed right where the bid is, like for example, if I put a sell order at 139 and then 139 doesn't work out with me and doesn't get filled, and then it goes to the 136s. Well, if I place an order with a sell at 136 when 139 is at the bid, I'm going to get 139 for sure or 136. And then, if it doesn't, you know, work like it did here in the downtrends, I might still be able to get filled, and I have to place another order and wait 30 seconds for Fidelity to cancel the order. And this thing did something very similar to MMTOP, where it just sold off with a crap ton of volume, baby bounce, and then it kind of comes back, makes a higher low off of the panic, and then it uptrends over a longer period of time. Same thing with CRTD. If this is something that happens more often, I'll consider it. And yeah, it sucks that I've been missing like the big panics and bounces, but I think the more I keep missing them, the more likely I am to actually trade one, because that's just how odds work. That's it for today. There wasn't really anything else with the other OTCs that I was interested in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a tiny gain just because I had to sell the other half of my position for a slight loss because it was just selling off like crazy. That's all I have.